Hello everyone, Miss AG here, and welcome back to my how I do my digital illustration process videos. In the last one we went through how I do sketching on the computer and all the little things that make it a little bit easier. And in this one we're going to go ahead and go through how I do my line art. For this I use the pen tool, and it's a little bit kind of an advanced technique, so if you want to just go ahead and if you don't want to bother with learning how to line with the pen tool, you might want to just skip over to the next video, then it'll go through how I do coloring. Okay, but for now, if you're interested in learning how to do the pen tool, I'm going to create a new layer. It's this little button down here. I hope you guys can see that. It says create a new layer, or you can go up to layer, and there's some kind of create new layer around here somewhere. New, right here, new layer. And we can name this our line layer. Alternatively, you can hit Command-Shift-N, or whatever the Windows equivalent would be, and you can have a new layer that way, which is what I will be doing probably in the future. Okay, so the pen tool is this, right over here. It looks kind of like a fountain pen with a little X next to it. And what it is it lays vector paths. I have mine set specifically to add path area up here. And this one, and right here, this little, there's like a square. This might be the default, I'm not sure. And then right next to it, there's like the fountain pen symbol in a box, and those are my settings, just to make it quick and easy. I'm going to show you how, when you do the pen tool, it creates a path. And I can see I have my previous work path here. And let's just go ahead and start. If you want, you can, if your sketch layer, if you drew it like black or something, you can change the opacity down to make it easier to see. It's up to you. I'm going to go back onto my layer, although it doesn't really matter when you're working with the pen tool. They're just paths. They'll just lay over any layer. So let's go ahead and just start. We'll start up here. We'll click one, add a little anchor point there. Click down here, and it'll make it straight. And then I'm going to put another little point here. See, if you hold it over the line, that little plus sign appears next to the fountain pen. I hope you guys can see that. You'll just have to take my word if you can't. And then there's a minus if you want to delete it. But we're going to add a plus point there, and it creates these, like, you know, little things there. But for now, we're going to hold the command key, or whatever the Windows equivalent would be, and we're just going to go ahead and move it and align it here with that line. We'll do the same up here, add a little point here, and drag it down. And before we go any further, because this will happen, if you start a new thing, if you accidentally get rid of it, start a new thing, see, your work path changes, and you lose all your work. So you always want to constantly save these. So we're going to go ahead and save this as line art. So don't forget that. Many a times I've lost my paths and I've been very mad at myself. Maybe they have a new version that will create new paths. I don't know. But for my old version, it doesn't. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep going through that. So you'll add a anchor point here. I assume that's what they're called. I'm not exactly sure. One down where this line ends. Add a little point here. Hold down the command key so you can grab it and move it down. And that's pretty much it. See this, if you go to the end of a point you've already made, a little symbol appears. It's like a little chain, I think, and you click there, and now you've reconnected. So that's where your new starting anchor point is. And you move it up there, and you can see how it was connected. And then you can click in the middle of your line and drag it down. You're still connected up here. You're connected until you click off it. So we're going to reconnect to that one, and we're just going to finish off that little line segment there, drag it down. Okay, I hope that I'm going through this well enough. I might do a tutorial, a little more in-depth tutorial in the future. If you already know how to use the pen tool, hopefully that this is not too hard for you, or if you're a little bit more familiar. But you can leave questions or comments you can leave questions in the comment section if you have any burning questions, I guess. Okay, let's keep going. One thing I want to go through, if you were wondering about these, how to drag these, it's the same thing. You just hold down the command key if you want to drag them like that instead. Just so I want to go through that. But I'm going to go ahead and hover that without holding anything, or delete that because I don't want it curved, and then hold down the command key and drag it over. I'm going to go through these a little bit faster. I'm going to put an anchor point here, and then I'm going to connect it here. put my little point down and move it out. Then you can move these down too. Just hold down the command key, click off it when you want to disconnect from your path, or click back on the ends. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna delete that so it'll be a little smoother without any corners. Just holding down the command when I need to move things, clicking off it when I want to disconnect, and you know, clicking on the little ends when I want to add some stuff there. Whoops. Okay, so what I did there, if I want to do that, I just hit Command Z real quick, and then it goes back to that, what your previous action was. So we'll keep going. We'll just add the hair out. We've kind of lost it there. You can draw these out all you want out of the border. You know, you can't draw out with a brush, but you can put your paths outside it. And we'll go ahead and do these here too. Okay, I'm going to save my document. Just out of habit. Save often, and you won't cry as much if there's something goes wrong. Okay, so we have this here, this line here. I'm going to, add a point here, and then I'm going to hold down the command key still and move these. Then I'll move this in a little bit, move this one out. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Grab that point there, grab this one here, move it in, make a new point here, move it in, and move the jaw out a bit, and move this one up. All right, so let's see this. I can see this looks a little bit wonky, but it's a little bit hard to see. So you can always erase your, not erase, but hide your sketch layer by hitting that little eye, and come in here and try to even this out a little bit without having the sketch distracting your eye. And that's good enough. So we'll just keep going. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to move that up. There we go. And then we'll draw on the neck, or put the points in for the neck. And we'll move it down like that. Move some areas here. Move some areas. Put the things there. Add the little shirt collar thing. Okay, for this, I'm going to hold down the Option key, or whatever the Windows equivalent is. And see, it creates, if you click in the middle of a line, it automatically has these little, I don't know what they're called, I'm sorry the terminology, the little magic ball connector thingies that manipulate the line. Anyways, you could create one. Oops, if you don't have one, you can delete and create them by holding the Option key. And then you have to hold the Option key and drag, like, you know, outwards to create them. But I just want to do that so it's not such a hard line. And then we'll just move that in. There we go. We'll do this here, like so. And I tend to have my style so that every one of these bumps up against each other, and I'll show you why when I do the coloring part. But that's just a little FYI. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing here, and I want to create an anchor point here. Specifically, so I'm gonna create it in the middle of the line, hold down the Option key to delete the default ones it comes up with. Oops. Hold down the Command key to move it up, hold down the Option key and drag it out to create those little things. And there we go, just like that. Move that down, put our thing here, and we'll just add these shoulders in however we want. And then we just have to go in and do the face, which I waited till last because I actually want to blow it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we'll do an eye, and we're just going to do one eye since it's a symmetrical face. I'll show you how to move it over. I did that Option thing again where I created that thing, that I don't know, anchor point thing, and I'm going to go ahead and move these in like that. Move this up under this one. Then here, down, up, just like that. Whatever style eye you do. I'm going to create an anchor point to make that a little more rounded. Same for here. Not an anchor point, but just those thingies. I wish I knew the terminology. That looks so well wise. That's a word. All right. And we'll just draw it in the bottom like this, and we can do the eye as well. And this is This tool over here, it's called the ellipse tool, I guess. You just hit the U on your keyboard and you select the ellipse tool, which is the round one. And I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna hit the P to get my pen tool back. Put some things here, delete the whatever they're called, and move that down. And then we can see there's the eye. I'm gonna move this up a bit, make this a little thicker. This part doesn't matter because I'm gonna end up filling this all with black, so that's, if you're wondering why I didn't bother to delete that, it's just for time saving purposes. So then we'll add the little crease hint whatever lines, and you can just go ahead and, okay, I'm gonna hold down the option and the control, and it makes like this little selection ability thing appear when you click and drag then. So I'm gonna hold option control, drag over the eye, copy it for Command C, paste it, Command V, and unlike earlier when we pasted, you know, digital content as pixels, you know, the line art, it pastes it right over it, so you wouldn't even notice it. But there's two here now. You just have to trust me because I'm gonna hit Command T or transform, move it, and you can see there's two here. And I'm actually just, before moving it too much, I'm gonna right click, flip horizontal, and just lazily make another eye right there. And you can only really do this if your face is symmetrical, and you have to double check when you're done to make sure your eyes aren't all wonky, because sometimes they'll be like, you know, that by accident, and then she'll be derp-eyed. So there we go, and I'm gonna put my sketch layer back on, do the eyebrows, start over here, shook, shook, and just move something down here, shape these up like the line, and you can copy the eyebrow if you want. I'm not gonna bother doing that crazy, going overboard with that stuff. Okay, I'll just, I don't know, that eyebrow it doesn't matter. We're just moving on. It's a technique video. Here we go. Okay, that bridge of the nose, do these little nostril areas. You can do the same thing if you want to just do like one and then paste it to make a real symmetrical nose. Up to you. We'll just do that. I don't want that up so high. And then, I mean, like just like this. Okay, if you want to just paste or, you know, copy one line real quick, I hold down the command option and you just click on it and drag, and that'll copy the one line, and then you can flip horizontal or whatever you need to do with that. And move it and hit return. And there you go. You've set it, except I moved that one over. Oh, I just selected it here without dragging it by clicking on it with to select the whole thing. Like if I just click on it here and then try to move it, I won't be able to. So I click on it with command option and then move it. And you can click anywhere here, since the whole thing, you can see all these are dark, the whole thing's been highlighted, you can move it like that. And here we go, we'll do the top lip, and we'll do the mouth crease, or whatever you call this part, and do the bottom lip. I think that's it. Have we missed any lines? Let's zoom out real quick, and let's hide the sketch layer. That's good enough for this. I'm going to move this hair down so I don't have to be drawing any hints at ears for this, just for now. Move this out. Do any final touches you want. Alright, and that doesn't look too bad. We have it on our path, and I'm going to show you now what I do. Let's see, what size is my brush at? 20. That's a bit too much. I'm going to hit Command D, first of all, get the color black. I'm going to go back up here and make sure my opacity is 100%. And I'm going to make sure my hardness is 100%, because when I do these lines, I don't want them fuzzy for my later technique. Okay, so we have, selecting our brush tool, we're going to see 20. Seems like a little bit, I think 20 will be okay. Let's knock it down to 15 though. And then go back to our pen tool, right click, you see we have all these options. We're going to go to the stroke path option and make sure you're on brush. and your stimulate pressure is off for now, but we can go back and add some. Just go ahead and hit OK, and there you go. The computer stroked your lines just all evenly and whatever. It's just all how it is. Okay, so but now you want, say you want some line variation, so you can go back. I hit I think I hit return, by the way, just to get off the path. Will stay there. You just hit return or enter. I think, well, I hit enter there. I think I hit return a minute ago, but maybe I hit enter. I'm not, you know, these things are so automatic. Let's see. No, return gets rid of it too. Okay, good to know. But we're going to select this again. We're going to go back and pick our brush tool, and now we're going to bump it up to 25. So it's 20, 25, and I'm hitting the bracket keys to do that quick select. And we're going to go back to the pen tool, hitting P. I'm going to go to stroke path, and this time you're going to simulate pressure. Simulate, not stimulate. Simulate pressure. Okie dokie. There we go. And that will give you some little line variations. You can see it's thicker in certain areas and thinner in others. Okay. You can go through with a brush, eraser. I just hit the eraser key. And if you have any of these little nub areas, you can edit them. You can do like a test thing and then edit your vectors so they're not like this if you're going to be reusing your vectors over and over, or you can just erase them. It's up to you. But this looks pretty good. I'm going to fill this in too as well, so we're going to select our path one more time. And by the way, if I didn't mention, if you can't find your path window, you can go up to Window and Paths right there. Okay, so we've got our path selected. I'm going to hit Command Option and just select this and select this. Oh, and Command Option and Shift will allow you to select them both at once. Then I'm going to right click, and this time I'm going to go to Fill Sub Paths. Sometimes it just says, you know, fill the paths, but since we only have some of them selected, we're going to do 100% opacity and 0% and foreground color, which is black. And then we just have that all colored in without having to go in ourselves. So it's just a little quick thing there. And that's about it for the line art. So, and then, I mean, I'll have a little segment in the future on what else I do, but for now, you get the idea. If you want, you can go in and erase, if you don't like the style of her eye showing, you go in and erase that. It's up to you. And that's about it. So I will see you in the next video, and I'll talk about how I do my base colors.